Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. So, most important, the news and editorial of the day that is relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 13th of December. The first important news that is Rajya Sabha passes Energy Conservation Bill. Second, India to provide human-centric leadership in G20 presidency. India's External Affairs Minister to attend meeting on UNSC reform and terrorism. There are two editorials for the discussion. The first is trading to win, and the last is curbing individualism in the public health. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And before I begin this session, those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do not forget to press a like button. Starting the session with the first news, that is Rajya Sabha passes Energy Conservation Bill. This news is particularly important for General Studies Paper 3 under the subtopic that is Infrastructure, Energy, Ports, Road, Airport, Railways and Highway. Also important for General Studies Paper 2 where government policies and intervention are concerned. Recently, the Rajya Sabha has passed Energy Conservation Amendment Bill 2022, which seeks to empower the central government to specify the carbon credit trading scheme. Again, very important for the prelims examination. A direct question can be framed, and even UPSC has asked the question with regards to carbon credit. Several opposition members have demanded the bill to be sent to the parliamentary committee for scrutiny as it dealt with a newer concept like carbon market as a measures to meet emissions target, and also alleged that the bill lacks the involvement of the states. So this is what is the stand of the opposition in the parliament. Now, carbon credit trading की अगर बात करें, what is this concept actually? The bill empower the central government to specify the carbon credit trading scheme, and carbon credit implies a tradable permit to produce a specified amount of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. So these are the permissible limits that has been allowed to an entity. The central government or any authorized agencies may seek credit certificates to the entities registered and compliance with the scheme. The entities will be entitled to trade the certificates, and any other person or any purchaser of a carbon credit certificates on the voluntary basis. So this is how the concept of carbon trading actually works. Now, looking into some of the important features of this bill, the bill seeks to amend the Energy Conservation Act of 2001, very important point for the prelims examination, and it seeks to mandate the use of non-fossil sources, which include green hydrogen, green ammonia, biomass, ethanol for energy needs and feedstock, and establish carbon market. The bill seeks to bring residential building within the fold of energy conservation regime, enhance the scope of energy conservation building, and code and amend the penalty provisions. So these are some of the specific salient features of this bill. The bill aims to bring residential building with a minimum connected load of 100 kilowatt, that is kV, or contracted demand of 120 kilowatt ampere within the fold of energy conservation regime. So this is again a factual information which can be relevant for the prelims examination. Now, the bill seeks to increase the member in the governing council of the Energy or Bureau of Energy Efficiency and empower the state electricity regulatory commissions to make regulations for the smooth discharge of this functioning. So, ये बड़ी changes की गई हैं गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से. The draft bill designed the consumer, that is designated the consumer, may be required to meet the proportionate of the energy needs from the non-fossil resources. The carbon credit trading aims to reduce the carbon emission and address the climate challenges. Framework for the regulation of energy. The bill provide a framework for regulating the energy consumption and promoting the energy efficiency and energy conservations. Energy efficiency means using less energy to perform the same task. Now, moving to the other news, India to provide human centric leadership during the G20 presidency, something important for General Studies Paper 2, under the subtopic that is bilateral regional grouping and agreement involving India and affecting India's interest. While addressing the G20 presidency, बेसिकली मीटिंग जो हो रही है वर्किंग ग्रुप की उसके प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस को एड्रेस करते हुए इंडिया के जो G20 के सीट पर हैं मिस्टर अमिताभ कांत, he has said that India endeavors to provide a human-centric leadership during the G20 presidency, which India has assumed on 1st of December 2022 and will continue till November 2023. Right, 2023 तक ये continue. Now, he said that India's objective is to voice for the global south, and the first meeting for the developmental worker group, this is known as DWG, of the Sherpa track will be held from December 30 in Mumbai, December to 16, starting from today onwards. About the Development Working Group, the Development Working Group or DWG is a platform for G20 members countries to come together, prioritize the multilateralism, and share solutions to promote growth, remap the development plan, and achieve the SDG targets. जो सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स के टारगेट हैं उसको अचीव करना ही एक बड़ी फोकस और प्रायोरिटी है DWG के लिए. The group has been acting as a custodian to G20 development agenda since the inception. जब से शुरुआत हुई है 2010 से, तब ये इसकी कोशिश में लगी हुई है. The DWG meeting aims to discuss the developmental issues developing countries में, चाहे वो developed countries हो, least developed countries हो, या फिर island nations among the small island and developing states. India's SDG success story. We'll see about how India has made a progress in this regard. So during the meeting, India will share the human-centric SDG stories. The country will utilize the power of digital technology and data to showcase the progress that it has made in the field of digital technology, although new startups has also worked progressively in India. And the discussion on life, that is the lifestyle for environment, a behavior-based movement that draws India's ancient and sustainable traditions to nudge the consumer in turn and adopt the environment-friendly conscious practices. India has emerged as a global hotspot and it is the fastest growing large economy which, as the sound खास करके अगर macro economics की बात करें, so fundamentals are pretty clear and India has substantially made the progress on the macroeconomic front. Now, the theme for G20 presidency for India is Vasudhaiva Kundupakam, that is one earth, one family, one future. And India will host close to 200 meetings in 15 cities across 32 work streams. The meeting of the Sherpa track was held last week in Udaipur, Rajasthan. This is again an important place and venue for many other competitive examinations. G20 की अगर बात करें, दो पैरेलल ट्रैक है जो इनमें काम करती है. The first track is known as financial track and second track is known as Sherpa track. Right? The finance ministry and the central bank governors lead the finance track while the Sherpa are followed by the Sherpa track. So this is how it actually functions. And the G20 presidency is having 85% of the global GDP, 75% of the global trade, and 2/3 of the world population. So these are some of the specific important factual information that even you can use in the mains answer writing. Now, moving to the other news, India External Affairs Ministers to attend meeting on the UNSC reform and terrorism, something important for General Studies Paper 2 under the subtopic that is important international institution agencies structure and their mandate. India's External Affairs Minister will begin the 3-day visit to New York in the United States to preside over the 2 signature event of India's ongoing presidency to the UN Security Council. It's a high-level ministerial open debate on the theme New Orientations for the Reformed Multilateralism. It will follow a briefing on the global approach on the counter-terrorism challenges and the way forward. So even you can get a direct analytical question in the mains examination from the same statement, और even for the PSIR optional आप जैसे बच्चों के लिए भी ये काफ़ी ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो डायरेक्ट आपसे ग्लोबल अप्रोच टू काउंटर टेररिज्म challenges and way forward पे analyze this in the contemporary context or present context. Both the themes will have the key priorities which include in India's during the current tenure in the United Nations Security Council. During the visit, Mr. External Affairs or Mr. Jaishankar will be visiting Mahatma Gandhi's on the UN premise, and he'll be holding the charge for the UN presidency for the theme. India is actually having this tenorship for December, and on a rotational basis, every country changes its position. Now, focus area की अगर बात करें इंडिया के लिए, primary focus is an open debate and reformed multilateralism to encourage the member states to seriously address the pressing needs and reform on the global governance, multilateralism architectures, including the long-standing reform of the United Nations Security Council. It is said that the meeting will also witness the briefing of the United Secretary General, UN Secretary General भी address करने and the presidents of the 77th UN General Assembly. Now, accountability for the crime against the UN peacekeeper, इंडिया के जो एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर है मिस्टर एस जयशंकर, इन्होंने कहा है दैट इंडिया वुड बी लॉन्चिंग अ ग्रुप ऑफ फ्रेंड्स फॉर accountability for the crime against the peacekeepers. During the India's August 21 presidency at the UNSC, a resolution was adopted unanimously to ensure the accountability from the crime against the women peacekeepers. खास करके यूएन के जितने पीस कीपर्स हैं उनके लिए. Along with India, the group of friends for accountable of the crimes against the peacekeeper will have the troops contributing like Bangladesh, Egypt, France, Morocco, and Nepal at its coaching. Now, this is the first editorial for the day from the Indian Express, that is Trading to Win. This editorial is written by UK Secretary of State and International Trade, Kemi Renchot. And something important for general studies paper too, that is bilateral effect of policies and politics for developed and developing countries on India's interest and India's diaspora. Now, what are the issues under this editorial? First, talking about the theme. The theme is like India-US relations. We'll be looking into India-UK free trade agreement, level of India-UK trade, growing telecom sector, and the way forward. So the ties between India and UK are often described as a living bridge, a dynamic economic force of the people, business, and ideas. We have a very good relationship, a bilateral relationship between India and UK. India and UK are the two largest economic in the planet. The countries have lowered the several trade barriers and a pledge to take it down further and set an ambitious target to double their value of India-US trade by 2030. इंडिया यूके फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट की अगर बात करें, एज इंडिया एंड यूके फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट इज अ नेचुरल स्टेप ब्रिंगिंग टू organization, or you can say two nations closer. Ordinary plan for their futures to the closest is. The Prime Minister of India has urged Indian businessmen to export their product to world within zero defect. In other words, high quality goods within no environmental impact. A free trade agreement will help to achieve this target. It would help Indian firms to sell a market that import almost 820 billion of goods and services around the world, which in the last 12 months are on the record. Now, level of India-UK trade. India is the 12th largest trading partner and accounts for 1.9% of UK's total trade in the fourth quarter for 2022. UK is the 7th largest exporter destination of India. The trade balance maintained between India and UK has largely been surplus. The top three services exported from India and UK are technical, trade-related services, other businesses which include professional management, consulting services, and travel. Now, growing telecom sectors, the British cybersecurity solutions firm, that is Telesoft Technology, has just said that it has pumped £100 billion into Indian subsidiaries over the next 5 years, supporting the growth of telecom sectors. A free trade agreement that smoothen the British and Indian firm path the investment on other economy that would mean for opportunities to multiply both for countries like India and United Kingdom. Now, the way forward in this regard would be India is one of the fastest growing large economy in the world. The free trade agreement, that is the FTA, this context can play a very significant role in enhancing the trade volume between both the countries. Therefore, there will be a need for detailed assessment of the free trade agreement in terms of goods and services, investment followed by all stakeholder involvement. So, a unanimous consensus is essentially required to have a healthy and a sustainable relationship in terms of FTA between India and United Kingdom. Now, moving to the second editorial of the day. This is from the Hindu, curbing individualism in the public health. Something important for general studies paper too, that is government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from its design and implementations. So, what are the issue under this editorial? Before reaching out to the issues, let's see the theme of this article, that is public health and hospitalization. We'll look into the background part of it. The recent evidences, hospitalizations की कुछ data देखेंगे और determinants of individualism की बात की गई है. This is again important for the mains examination perspective. Now, failure to examine and interpret public health problems from the population perspective is leading to ineffective and unsustainable solutions as far as complex public health problems are concerned. So, we're not looking into the complexity of an individual level, and even we're not trying to figure out what is the exact intervention that is required in the public health. The problem, such as undernutrition, which require interventions such as micronutrient supplement, food fortification as a sustainable approach, has strengthened the public distribution system, supplementary nutrition program, and health services. Similar to the case of the chronic disease, where early diagnostic is required, treatment in most popular solutions have a little focus on this part, and even the behavioral change at the community level to the larger extent is required. There's a strong tendency in the public health to prioritize individual orientations and even over the societal orientation, population based approaches, also known as individualism in the public health. Now, the recent evidence, the two most recent evidence in the government health program, which is dedicated to the health sector, the first among them is Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, that is under the Ayushman Bharat. Under the scheme, the government is providing 5 lakh of expenses that will be incurred to a family member, and the goal is to ensure free curative care services to all kind of hospitalization that require no financial burden to the beneficiaries. Now, what is talked about is the entire scheme and the need for hospitalization services per year for any population. Now we have to see how are the actual beneficiaries utilizing this benefit out of 5 lakh rupees. Now, हॉस्पिटलाइजेशन डेटा को अगर देखें, जो नेशनल सैंपल सर्वे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है NSSO की जो डेटा है, they are giving some astonishing fact about this. So it shows that only 3% of the populations in India is episodic to hospitalization, and 1% from Assam, 4% from Goa, 10% from Kerala. These are the functional availability. The proportion hovers around 3 to 5% across most of the Indian states among the total population. Ideally, the government need to ensure the healthcare facilities to only 3 to 5% of the population, covering the hospitalization need for the population. तो क्या इससे ज़्यादा लोगों को ज़रूरत पड़ रही है इसकी, और जो लोग इसके बेनिफिट ले पा रहे हैं क्या उनको पूरी बेनिफिट मिल भी रही है? This is again a big question. In the longer run, the maximum proportions of the population need to have a hospitalization in the range of 5% of the total population. तो कई अगर फ्यूचरिस्टिक या ऐसे वर्स्ट सिचुएशन होती है तो 5% से ऊपर हॉस्पिटलाइजेशन नहीं देखी गई इंडिया. Now, the determinants of individualism. Basically, there are 3 reasons to dominate the individual public health. First, all these operate in the combination and hence the detrimental to public health practices. So, पहली चीजें हैं biomedical knowledge and philosophy in the field of public health with a misconceptions that a well done individual level can have done at the population will become an health public health. सो यहाँ पे ज़रूरी है कि जो बायोमेडिकल नॉलेज है उसके साथ जो फिलॉसफी इन्वॉल्व है पब्लिक हेल्थ के पूरे इसकी जो मिसकंसेप्शन है उसे दूर की जाए और इंडिविजुअल लेवल पे जो पॉपुलेशन लेवल पे काम करने की ज़रूरत है, पब्लिक हेल्थ पे सुधार करने की, उस पर काम करने की ज़रूरत है. नाउ सेवरल हेल्थ इफेक्ट्स आर मोर विजिबल इन appearing convincing the individual, wherein the improvement at the population level is also required. We need to have an analytical part We need to take the expert opinion, orientation is required, and even awareness to the public health practitioner is very important. The people are actually not aware about their right, the medical facilities that are being provided for free of cost by the government. The third is the most important influence of all is the market role and effect of the consumerism in the public health practices. The beneficiaries of the program has become maximum when 100% population is targeted. And on contrary, the population perspective, the actual beneficiaries will reduce to only 5 to 10%. In case of hospitalization, the services is 20%. And with effect to COVID-19 treatment, this require further expertise, the maximum amenities that is provided from government because COVID-19 has make us susceptible and prone. The reality of the hospital sector was also evident during the entire pandemic. So we need to work on that and ensure that maximum people are getting the best out of the treatment if they're required for any kind of hospital admissions. Moving to the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct answer is C. And the second question, the correct answer is C again. Today's MCQ for practice. Quadrilateral security dialogue, जिसे quad के नाम से भी जाना जाता है, is informal security dialogue between India, Japan, and Australia. It aims to ensure free, open, and prosperous Indo-Pacific. So do check it out for the correct option. This topic itself is very important, relevant for both prelims as well as mains examination. Now, Chambord Lake is the largest inland lake in the world. It represents a depression in the Aravalli Ranges. This is a factual contemporary question. For the geography, you have a lot more other questions that we'll practice in due course of time. This was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.